If you're struggling, like many right now, to find the right settings because your settings have been reset like everybody else's, this is your one-stop tour to finding what is best for you and what is going to work for you the best. Now, I've been playing for the past 15 hours game time worth on Warzone Season 1 integration with Black Ops 6 to kind of find the best settings, to find and fine-tune the right things. I'm going to be going through absolutely everything, all the annoying bugs and how to overcome them as well, just like the cancel bug, the reload cancel bug, and all the other ones. Now, starting off, I'm going to get knee-deep into it with the controller settings. Now, a lot of us are controller players. We do have some mouse and keyboard players, and I will be moving on to that towards the end of the video. But in regards to kind of like the button layout, I go with tactical flipped. Keeping it nice and simple allows you to use your R3 as your crouch and you're lying down. I use 7-7. I do change between 10-10 and 7-7 quite a lot. And then all the rest I kind of keep defaults. I obviously swap L1 and R1 to L2 and R2. I should say the other way around. And I turn off control vibration. That is very important. Now, dead zones are definitely very, very important. Now, there's two things that I want you guys to do. One, depending on how much stick drift you have, you can definitely change the left and right minimum. But with all controllers, you want to be putting the left trigger and right trigger down to a 4. It just means that when you fire or when you use a nade, it's a lot more quicker and more responsive. So again, make sure you do so with that as well. Aiming, this is very, very important. Not really many you need to change in here. Everybody keep this all standard. Go to aiming advanced settings, go in here, change your aim response curve to dynamic, and when you keep that to either 0.85 or bang it on 1. Then there's not really much difference between them, but you know, just try playing up both of them. Now, standard is also very good, but with the nerf of aim assist between 0 and 8 meters, I believe it is, you're going to notice a massive difference with standard not being just as good with the rotational aim assist. Linear and dynamic definitely have way more promise in that regard. Dynamic, I find, is the perfect hybrid. Linear, if you prefer sniping and you're more of the snappy, maybe using pistols more or shotguns more, linear would definitely benefit. If you're using ARs and LMGs or submachine guns, dynamic definitely works really well. And standard, again, it's ideal for new players, but I definitely would recommend going to dynamic eventually. Hopping off here, movement. This is very important. Now, a lot of people are talking about dead slide cancels, and a lot of people are talking about why am I getting dead slide? The movement is so slow. There is two things that I want you to do in this menu. It is so important. Change your sprint assist to tactical sprint assist, so that's tactical sprint on. Show more, put your sprint delay to 0. Sprint sideways on, sprint backwards on. And then turn your corner slice on. You can also have it on if it really does depend. It's up to you. Slide behavior, hybrid. You should be using that. You should not be using any other. Tap to slide, no good. Tap to dive, no good. Tap to slide only, dive, no, none of it's any good. Hybrid is the way forward. It is super responsive. It is so much better. If you're not using hybrid and you're on a controller, you're going to struggle. You really are. The slide cancel is going to be slow. Slide around the map, climb, it's just going to be very, very slow. So if you're not using that, make sure you whack it on. And everything else is kind of default on here. I don't change any of this type of stuff. I don't personally think you need to. Auto peak is something that you don't really need. But moving on to the combat, there's quite a few things that we need to do in here that are very, 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 very important. So, one, everything is default. Don't change any of this besides tactical stance activation. I put L1 and downwards button. So, obviously, when I use L1 and down, obviously that activates it that way, if you can see on the camera. L1 and down like that. And then moving down, armor plate behavior apply all, very, very important. And then go to combat settings. Again, if you're having the issue in the bug that makes it so that whenever you tactical sprint, you cancel your reload, for some weird reason, Call of Duty have decided to enable a setting, or should I say disable a setting, sprint cancel reload. When you first load up the game and you're on console, PlayStation, whatever it may be, sprint cancel reload is automatically on. Turn it off. You're going to have so much better experience. Everything else is set to default. Now, Moving into interface settings, there's a couple of settings that I want to move into here. Obviously, this is kind of all to do with your gameplay and all that type of stuff. I would, you know, just keep that default. You can play around with it, maybe put gameplay tips on if you want to see it. It's up to you. Readability. I have subtitles on custom, so it means that I see it on multiplayer but nowhere else. Color customization, very, very important. I noticed when I first logged into the game and I played quads with the lads, on Area 99, the area and the colors were washed out. Now, a lot of people do come into my stream and say, Jaff, why does your game look so good? Why do my colors look so washed? Well, this is a very important bit. So, first of all, this is to do with the colors. This is to make your gameplay and experience a lot easier. Go down to squad members, show more, and change your squad members 1, 2, 3, 4 to colors that you are going to notice. Annoyingly, when you load up Call of Duty, and for some weird reason, they make it like grays and browns and all that type of stuff. No idea why. It's not helpful in any way, shape, or form. Obviously, I have my enemies on red, party on pink, team on green, and I have myself in a different shade of green. But again, just change these squad member colors. It's very, very important. Now, moving down, I have a target filter to both 100% intensity on both. And then obviously we're moving on to a different setting in a second. If we go over to gameplay HUD, I have my HUD bounds set to the smallest. And then if you go to minimap shape, a square. And then I also put my compass type to the minimap. You can have the horizontal one at the very top of your screen, but I just think it looks a bit cleaner when it's on top of the minimap. Because, in my opinion, minimap is absolute king. You need to be watching your minimap 24/7. So if your mates have come to you 330 or a southeast or anything like that, you can look at both your minimap and your compass at the exact same time, and it allows you to not have as much eye movement. It just makes it a lot easier and a bit more responsive. I know a lot of people, including 𝗖cie_𝗱𝗲, has the player name down to icon only. I prefer full name. I think it's a bit easier to see. Crosshairs. This is a very important one. Crosshair dot, I have it on. Crosshair center dot is a default. I have played around with it, making it a little bit larger and stuff like that, but obviously just try it out for yourself. Crosshair spread off, definitely don't have that on. The opacity, I have it on 100, and then change your crosshair color to a really bright color. So, you know, right now I've got it on green. You know, something like a blue or, you know, like a teal or maybe even a red. It will just look so much better. Obviously, the default is white. Red looks pretty cool. Obviously, you've got the bright green. It looks pretty cool. The teal looks pretty cool. You know, just change it to something that you are going to notice the most. Yellow looks pretty cool as well. I'm going to try play around with it a little bit more. But like I said, I have mine on green. I personally think that's great. Now, if you scroll down, or is it on a different setting? I think it might be on graphics. So, obviously, graphics, going to go through this quickly. This is pretty much self-explanatory. I'm only going to go through ones that matter. The ones that don't really matter, just play around them with yourself and depending on your setup. Obviously, I have Fidelity Cast on. I know some people are playing around with NVIDIA DLSS to get more frames, but I found the game looks a bit more misty, a little bit more blurry. And I have my upscaling strength to 100 to make it look a bit sharper. I have everything set to very, very, very low. Absolutely everything. Besides local texture streaming quality, I have that to normal. Now, view. This is very, very important. Now, the big settings, obviously. You can have the preset set to on, but I do all mine manually just to make it a bit easier. So I'm 100 FOV to affect to 100. FOV field of view to affected, not independent. If you have it on independent, then it will zoom it in too much. Weapon field of view, have it to wide. Wide makes the weapon look a lot smaller. For some weird reason in this game, the guns look absolutely massive on screen. Have it set to wide and the vehicle to wide as well. Wheel motion blur off and weapon motion blur off. Now, again, first-person camera movement needs to be on 50%. If you have it on default to 100, you're really going to struggle. Inverted flashbang, again, depending on if you want like bright colors or not, just keep it on or off. Now, moving down to audio, again, a very important bit. Now, as of making this video, is the 15th of November. Depending on when you view this video, whether it's in a month's time, right now, as of the 15th of November, enhanced headphone mode is broken on Warzone. It currently duplicates audio. Do not use it. I stress this enough. Do not use it as of 15th 11th. Now, maybe later on, it'll be, you know, it would change, and obviously I'd imagine they'd do some patches and they'll work it through. As we all know, the audio in this game is absolutely rubbish, and it definitely needs it needs improving. So having headphones mode off, obviously your master volume, just do it to whatever you prefer depending on your setup. I have audio mixed either between Treyarch and headphones. Try and both out, see which one you prefer. I have licensed music off because I'm a streamer, and obviously I have the hearing compensation on. Now, when I have this on, if for some weird reason, I know it doesn't describe it this way, but for me, it just seems like you don't hear much ambient noise. So gunshots in a distance, shrieks in a distance, it doesn't seem as loud. So have it on, maybe play around with it. You might not have a different experience depending on a different headset or whatever. And then obviously you can play around with configure frequency intensity. Obviously just give it a go, see if you like it. Obviously you can try all the different frequencies as you can hear, but I've not played around with it too much. Now I'm just going to move over to controller, keyboard and mouse and go to combat and just show you guys some of the most important settings. Again, if you go to combat, make sure you change the sprint reload to cancel reload off. Very important. Movement, have sprint aim assist on as default to sprint aim assist off on, and have it to set to 0. And again, corner slicing, depending if you want it on or off. And then obviously everything else on mouse and keyboard. Obviously, nice sensitivity depends on the player. Obviously, try to play around with yourself and let me know how you guys get on. But honestly, these settings are very important. I've noticed quite a lot of people have been coming into my chat today. I've been saying, look, I don't really know what to put on. There's so many settings. I've reset all my settings. I have played around for a very long period of time over the past day and a half, and I've definitely compiled the best settings possible, and they give you the best competitive advantage over your opposition. So let me know what you guys got to think in the comment section down below, and until next time, I'll see you all real soon. Peace, guys. Bye-bye.